State may call your next witness.
Mr. Margie Mobley.
Ma'am, good morning to you. I was about to say they're taking good care of you, and then that happened.
I've been getting everything. It's okay. I'm used to it.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, 30, sorry.
All right, he'll make sure you're comfortable. If you need a glass of water, we'll do our best to accommodate.
Yes, please.
Some water.
Yes, please. Okay, we're
We'll certainly take care of that for you. And obviously, you're leaning back. I understand why. Make sure. Are you comfortable?
Yes, I was just trying to make sure I can sit up. So y'all can hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, and if you need to move that microphone, you can certainly do so as well. But my guess is you have a loud voice.
Yes. Yes.
All right. With that said, just my only request of you is that if there's an objection made during the course of the testimony, just pause. Let me rule on the objection first.
Okay.
And then you can answer the question.
Okay.
Okay? State may inquire. You ready?
Yes, sir. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Will you introduce yourself to the jury, please?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Margie Mobley. I am a IS auntie.
All right. Can you tell us where you live now, ma'am?
I stay in Yulee,
All right.
Florida,
How long have you been living in Yulee?
for a year now.
And prior to that, where did you live?
Prior to that, I stayed in Jacksonville.
All right. I think you just mentioned, is IS your niece, ma'am?
Yes.
And who is her mother?
My baby sister, Kimberly.
Is that your sister?
Yes.
Will you direct your attention, ma'am, back to 2018? Where were you living then?
I was in Jacksonville.
All right. Excuse me. Do you know a gentleman by the name of Johnathan Quiles, ma'am?
Yes, I do.
And who was he to you?
No one.
Back in 2018, ma'am, who was he?
Back in 2000. He was my brother-in-law.
All right. Was he married to one of your other sisters?
He was married to Naomi.
All right. Do you see Mr. Quiles in the courtroom now?
Yes, I do.
Can you describe what he's wearing, please, and tell us where he's seated?
He's sitting by Michelle, and he has glasses on with a ponytail.
And what color shirt, ma'am? You can tell.
It appears to be white.
Your Honor, may the record reflect she's identified the defendant.
So reflected.
Ma'am, I want to direct your attention back to December 19 of 2018. Do you recall that day, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us where you were?
I was with my ex in Jacksonville, just probably watching TV.
All right. Did you receive a phone call from someone?
Yes, I received a phone call from my sister Kimberly.
All right. And don't tell us anything anybody else said, but once you received that phone call, what did you do next?
I immediately got in my car and went to Terry Parker High School.
Let's talk about that. Did you go by yourself?
I went by myself.
All right. And you said you went directly to Terry Parker High School?
Yes, I did.
How long did that take you?
Not less than 5 minutes.
All right. And approximately, do you recall what time it was that afternoon, if you can?
Probably like around 3-ish, maybe. School had just gotten out.
All right. Now, when you went to the school, did you determine that school had in fact been let out?
Yes.
All right. What was the first thing you did when you arrived at Terry Parker?
When I realized the school bus was gone, I started going every route that my niece would potentially go to get from Terry Parker to her mother's house.
All right. And by saying that you went every route, did you drive every route?
Yes, I drove every route.
Were you looking along roadways?
Yes, I was.
Did you see anything that looked like your niece?
No.
Did you do that in various types of routes that to and from Parker High School to Kim's house?
Yes.
All right. While at Terry Parker High School that afternoon, give the jury an idea of what you did there.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, what did you do on the campus at Terry Parker High School?
When I went to the campus, I looked around for her sister wasn't there, so I just pretty much looked and went to the office and trying to get some answers. By the time I got back to the school, my sisters was there, so.
All right. Were multiple sisters of yours there?
Yes.
Okay. Did you look around the school as well?
I looked around the school, but just in the immediate area by the buses and anywhere like that.
You see any sign of Ayanna?
No.
Ma'am, did these actions and not finding IS prompt you to call the police?
Yes, it did.
All right. You know approximately what time you would have called the police as an estimate?
Sometime probably it was before 5 o'clock,
Okay.
maybe, give or take.
And did you report to the police just what you told this jury?
Yes, I did. I told the police it's out of character for my niece to not be home, not to be recognized. We didn't know where she was, and we couldn't get a hold of her, and that was out of character for her not to be at home, not to just be gone.
All right. Did you yourself try to call her cell phone?
Yes, I did.
Was there anything that particular afternoon that you made any type of connections or communication with IS?
I made no.
All right. You mentioned something about it being completely out of her character. Has she ever before, after school, just gone missing like that?
I would never just after school just leave or go anywhere. No.
Now, Miss Mobley, after you called the police, did your family all congregate somewhere, and if so, where?
After we left the school, everyone congregated at my sister Kim's house.
All right. And just generally, man, we've heard some other testimony about that. What all did you do, in summary, at your sister's house that afternoon and evening?
I had my younger nephew tear her room up looking for like old devices, anything that any electronics.
All right. And that nephew of yours, is that also a child?
He's a child.
All right. Could you just tell us, you don't have to say his name, but with respect to the family, who was that nephew?
That was IS' baby brother.
Did, in fact, her younger brother go through their room and start looking at things?
Yes, in fact, he did.
Were you and other sisters in that room as well?
Yes, sir.
Kind of tearing through it?
Yes, sir.
Now, did you collectively as a group look at any particular items, like an old notebook or things along those lines? You all look through things like that?
We found old notebooks, laptops, phones. Those are our main thing. Anything electronic was our focal point.
And while looking through these either older devices or anything in her room, did you find any clue or any indication of where she might have gone?
I mean, we went on some wild goose chase based on the stuff that we found, but they turned out to be dead ends. It's like misleading.
All right. Did you, in fact, based on just gleaning information from her life, did you go to anybody's particular houses or apartments looking for her in that manner?
Yes, sir, we did.
You ever find her at any of these places?
No, sir, we didn't.
What, if anything, can you tell us about her clothing from her bedroom? Did y'all notice anything to be missing?
The only thing I noticed to be missing was her undergarments.
All right. And were those undergarments of the brand of Victoria's Secret?
Yes, sir, it was.
Did that cause your family collectively, and more importantly, yourself individually, some concern?
Yes, it did.
At that time, did you know she was pregnant?
Yes, I did.
Was it your concern that she had run off with the father of the baby?
Yes, it was.
Right. Now, with respect to that, can you give the jury an idea of your niece, IS, where she generally is on a daily basis in the majority of her time? Where does she spend that?
On a daily basis, the morning, of course, it would be school. Like, if she had to work, because she had just recently gotten a job, it would be at work. And outside of school and work, it was her family. It was us.
All right. Of the 5 sisters, her mother and the 4 aunts, you being one of those, whose house would she spend at more other than her own?
The Quiles, Naomi.
All right. Is that where the defendant lived?
Yes, where the defendant lived.
And did you ever understand, or looking back at that time period, understand why she was spending time over at the defendant's house?
Then I didn't. Now, more so I do.
Okay. But based on your observations, was it clear to you at that time that's where she spent the majority of her time when she was away from her home?
Yes.
Did you have any idea, ma'am, excuse me, did you have any idea, ma'am, whether she was engaged in a relationship with like a boyfriend at the time she went missing?
No.
Do you have any idea whether she was sexually active with someone at the time she went missing?
I know she was sexually active.
Okay. At the time she went missing with someone specifically, do you have any idea at that time?
I knew she was sexually active when she went missing.
With someone in particular?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
And who is that?
That would be Mr. Johnathan.
Okay. Other than that, are you aware of her being sexually active with anyone other than the defendant?
It was one other guy, a neighbor.
Okay. You recall his name if you can. Don't make it up. If you don't,
Yeah, it's
don't.
something weird. I mean, if I was here, I don't know off the top of my head, but I just know it was a neighbor, the dude across the street.
Okay. Was that the incident that had surfaced earlier in March of 2018?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ma'am, I know there were several efforts after December 19 of 2018. Did you engage in several of those surge efforts by you and your family?
Yes, I did.
Did you in any way whatsoever find any sign of your niece ever again?
Nothing.
Lastly, ma'am, I want to talk to you just a little bit about some PayPal charges. Do you have any connection to purchasing anything for either IS, her little brother, who you just mentioned, or SS, anything like that, through PayPal?
It would be the little brother.
Okay, tell us about that.
He always wanted random stuff like video games, and it'd be something simple, like for Xbox or something like that. They always small purchases or whatever.
And can you describe what you mean by small purchases?
$1, $2, just for like on sale skins.
Okay. So if there's PayPal account charges on IS's account through her grandmother, is that you that's making those PayPal payments to her?
No.
Do you think it was someone else?
It definitely wasn't me.
Okay. Is there any possibility that you were paying IS for the games that her little brother was purchasing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You just don't recall that now?
No.
All right. One moment, Your Honor. Nothing further. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, Ms. Mobley.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I want to take you to the day that IS went missing. And I know you said that you got a phone call and you went straight to the school, correct?
Correct.
Were you the first one to go to the school and arrive at the school?
That I wouldn't know.
You're not sure if it was you who arrived there first or not?
I don't know who arrived there first.
That's okay. You just don't recall.
Yes, I don't recall.
It may have been you or one of your other sisters.
Yes, ma'am.
After you arrived, you said that you started driving routes. Is that the first thing you did after you got to Terry Parker? You started driving routes to Kim's house?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, sorry. I'll finish the question and then let you answer. It happens all the time, so don't worry about it. I'll just do my best to try and make sure we get the record clear. After you were doing those routes and you were just looking for her at that point, looking for IS.
Yes, ma'am.
When you didn't see her, did you call police at that point?
No, ma'am.
Okay. When did you call police?
After I took every route possible from Terry Parker to her mother's house.
Okay, that's what I was asking, and maybe I just didn't make it clear.
Oh.
After you did all of the routes you possibly could, that's when you called police?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then did you meet back up, as you said, with your sisters who were already at Terry Parker School again?
I ended up back at Terry Parker, and then we ended up at my baby sister's house.
Okay, great. After you went to Kimberly's house and started searching through everything, you guys did find some clues as to where she might be, correct?
Correct.
At some point, do you recall there being a plane ticket being found for IS?
I'm not going to say a plane ticket, but I seen something in reference to a ticket being bought.
And did you guys then try to make phone calls to the airport to see if there were any flights going out?
Yes.
Did you find anything in particular that you found IS having taken a flight?
No.
Okay. Did you also provide that information to police?
This information. Yeah.
The information about the flights?
Me, for say, no.
Okay. So you're not sure if police ever received that information?
I mean, once the police got involved, I was pretty much told not to I pretty much stayed out of it because so much stuff got leaked. So I pretty much stayed in my own little bubble.
Okay. But you yourself never reported that directly to
Correct.
police? Okay. Is that a yes?
Correct, yes.
Okay, sorry, I didn't hear you.
That's okay.
At that time when police kind of got involved and they were assisting trying to locate IS, did the family at that point have the sentiment that police really weren't putting enough effort in trying to locate where IS might be?
Would you rephrase the question?
Of course. Did you feel that the police were not putting enough effort into trying to locate IS?
At some point.
Would that have been right at the beginning portion of when she went missing?
That was at the beginning.
So those first several days, you all were doing a lot of the legwork in trying to find her?
Yes.
You guys were the ones creating the flyers, postings, and that type of thing, correct?
Correct.
You guys were trying to get police to actually publicize that she was missing and try to make efforts to find her.
Yes.
And police were not doing that at that point.
I'm not sure what the police were doing.
At that time, was your understanding part of the reason why they weren't doing that is because she was classified as like a runaway?
If she was classified as a runaway, that was never brought to my attention.
Okay. You all believed that she had run away for some period of time, at least immediately after.
I never believed she ran away.
Well, during direct examination, you'd said that you thought that she had run away with the father of her child.
Oh. In that aspect, that's different. I thought you were saying as if she just ran away, as if she wasn't happy at home and she ran away.
Oh, no. I wasn't making that assumption at all. I'm asking at that point in time, you thought she had run away.
At that point, she was missing.
Okay. I want to talk to you about a comment that you made during the direct examination. Mr. Skinner asked you if you knew if IS had been sexually active at the time that she went missing, and with anyone in particular. You answered that you knew that she was sexually active at that time with Johnathan Quiles. Is that true?
It was speculation that I don't know when it began to start, but She was having inappropriate relationships with Mr. Quiles.
And you knew that personally at that time. I know now, having been so long, but at that time, in December of 2018, did you know that?
It was all thought up and brought up. Did we have actual evidence? No.
Okay. So you did not actually know or have concrete evidence. Is that what you're saying?
I guess you can say that.
Okay. As far as accusations or rumors, however you want to call it, that at that time was out there that Johnathan Quiles had had some sort of relationship with IS.
Can you rephrase that then?
Of course. At that time, in December of 2018, there were accusations or rumors that IS and Johnathan Quiles had had some sort of sexual relationship, correct?
Correct.
Okay. You all had not, prior to that, known of any sort of relationship, though, correct?
Correct.
I'm going to take you to when you all found out that IS was pregnant. That was the very beginning of December, end of November, correct?
I don't recall the exact date.
Does that time period sound about right?
I don't recall the exact time period or date.
Yeah, I understand. I'm not asking for the exact date. I know I'm not giving you like December 3rd.
Oh, okay, well,
But was that time period around then about the time that you all found out that she was pregnant?
That's fair to say, yes.
Okay. And when you found out that she was pregnant, did you or were you told who the father was?
No.
Okay. Were you ever given any names of who the potential fathers may be?
We was only given alias.
Okay. At that time, did you know that they were only aliases?
It was speculation.
Okay. Did you ever hear the name Jose?
Yes.
Okay. Was Jose named as the father of IS's unborn child?
Yes.
Did you yourself think at that time, back when you found out that Jose was the father of IS's baby, did you at that time believe that Jose went to Terry Parker?
I was following leads, so yes.
Okay. Did you actually find out that he was no longer attending Terry Parker, had graduated?
No.
So you're saying you never found out any information about a Jose who had attended Terry Parker?
The only person that attended Terry Parker with the name Jose was like 67-something years old, so that wasn't him.
You don't believe that was the correct person?
It was an alias.
You believe it was an alias?
It was an alias.
When you say it was an alias, is that information that you know, or is that information that's been told to you?
No, that's what I believe.
That's what you believe?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever follow up on one of the leads, and maybe you've never even heard this, so did you ever hear that Jose lived in Azalea Ridge Apartments?
No.
Okay. Did you ever go to Azalea Ridge Apartments?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Is that where Willie Sawyer, IS's father, resided at that time?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever speak to Mr. Sawyer, Willie Sawyer, about Jose living in Azalea Ridge Apartments?
No.
When you went to Azalea Ridge Apartments, were you looking for an individual you believed to have been in a relationship with IS?
Yes.
Do you recall the name of that person that you believed to be in a relationship with IS that resided at Azalea Ridge Apartments?
No.
So it could be Jose.
It was an African-American name. Jose is a familiar Hispanic name, so I would know the difference.
But you don't recall what that name was?
Correct.
After you following up on leads of who the father may be and not being able to find anyone, you all began to make accusations, or the sisters were making accusations that the father was Johnathan Quiles. Is that correct?
Can you repeat the question?
After you all were no longer able to figure out, I mean, you said that earlier that you were following up leads, but it was an alias. You believed it was an alias. After you all followed those leads and could not find who you believed to be the real father, at that time, did you all then accuse Johnathan Quiles, or the sisters accuse Johnathan Quiles of being the father of IS's unborn child?
He was believed to be the father before the alias and all the other names.
You all believed he was the father before you went and searched other people's names who may be the father?
Correct.
Okay. So why were you searching for other people's names who might be the father if you knew it was Johnathan Quiles the whole time?
If asked about it, he wasn't going to tell the truth, but that's just what I'm saying.
Say that again for me, just a little louder if you don't mind. I did not hear you.
If he was asked or whatever, if it was any inappropriate relationships, he denied it at that time, and the young lady was denying it as well. So that's why everything was alias. So yes, we did the footwork to try and find who the person was, who we already knew who the person indeed was.
Okay. When you say the young lady denied it, are you talking about IS?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yes.
So IS denied it, Johnathan Quiles denied it. Did
Yes.
you is that yes?
I'll say yes, ma'am.
Did you ever personally see anything inappropriate between Johnathan Quiles and IS?
No.
Did you ever see anything inappropriate between Johnathan Quiles and SS? Her younger sister, SS.
No.
Okay. Were you around when SS and IS were confronted about having any sort of sexual relationship with Johnathan Quiles?
No.
Did you ever ask IS or SS about any sexual relationship between them and Johnathan Quiles?
No.
Now let me ask you about the next door neighbor. I know you can't remember his name, but did you ever know him to have been sexually active with IS?
It was brought to my attention.
Okay. And were you there when that was reported to police?
Yes, I was.
Okay. Did you ever meet him or know him or see him?
I've seen him.
Okay. How did you see him?
I saw him in Popeyes where he worked at, and I pointed him out. Stay away from my niece.
Okay. At some point in time, you said you saw him where he was working?
Correct.
Okay. And you confronted him?
Yes.
You told him to stay away from your niece?
Yes.
And that would have been when, if you can recall?
I do not recall.
Okay, was that around the time she went missing?
It was well before that.
Was it a little before that, or you said it was well before that? I didn't hear you.
I don't know the exact date because it's been so long, but I do know I confronted him at Popeyes where he worked at his place of employment. I just happened to run in there and he was there.
Okay. And so that was sometime before IS went missing?
Yes.
Were you aware of an ongoing sexual relationship between Kamar Humphrey and, I'm sorry, you didn't know his name, but the next door neighbor and IS?
No.
As far as when the allegation and the report to police, do you need a moment?
No, I'm good.
Go ahead, take a moment. Are you okay to proceed?
I'm good now, thank you.
All right. Let me just ask that again. As far as when the allegations came out in that report to police about the next door neighbor having a sexual relationship with IS happened, did you talk to IS about that situation?
Brief.
Did she deny having a sexual relationship with the next door neighbor?
She didn't want to discuss it.
Did she ever deny it?
She didn't want to discuss it.
When you say she didn't want to discuss it, did she say, I'm not talking about it?
She just... That's what she did. She was a teenager. Okay. That's her way of saying yes or no. That's what she did.
Okay. You did not take that as a denial?
I didn't know how to take it, so I just let it go.
Okay. All right. Back in December of 2018, were you working at Ace Pick-A-Part?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And did you work with Johnathan Quiles at Ace Pick-A-Part during that time period?
Yes, I did.
Meaning you all worked there at the same time?
Yes.
Okay. And were you at work the day that IS went missing?
I didn't start to after that, I believe. I'm not sure.
Okay. You don't recall if you were or were not then?
I was not.
Ma'am?
I was not.
You were not at work that day. Were you working in the days after that, following that?
After that,
Okay. And how did you get the job at Ace Pick-A-Part?
I went up there and Mr. Quiles did told me to come up there, but I went in there, filled up the application, and I got the job.
Okay. It's part of the reason why you went to Ace Picker Park for a job because of Mr. Quiles.
Give or take.
Okay. I mean, he informed you about it. I'm not saying he got you the job, but he informed you that there was available work there.
Yes.
Okay. And you guys, how would you describe your relationship with Mr. Quiles prior to this entire situation happening?
Well, prior to this, we was okay.
Okay. Were you guys close? Spent time together?
We was okay.
Okay. And would you describe Mr. Quiles as an affectionate person?
Can I have an example of what you mean as affectionate?
Like when you greet someone, you hug them.
Give or take, I guess, yes.
And do you recall him kind of having like pet names for people or family and friends?
If he did, I didn't know.
Like, do you ever hear him calling people baby, and that, like, that's a common way how he would greet people?
Baby, yeah.
Okay. And as far as what you observed of him at that time, I understand that there were some accusations that happened, but prior to the accusations when IS got pregnant, did you ever suspect there being any sort of sexual relationship between IS and Johnathan Quiles?
I didn't want to.
Just a moment.
She disappeared, is that correct?
I'm sorry, he said,
Yes, ma'am. On direct examination, you told us you got a phone call and left from your home to go to Terry Parker. Is that your recollection?
Yes.
The day she disappeared.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Ma'am, good to see you. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you as well.
State, you can call your next witness.